Dear children, this is the third and the last video on characteristics of living organisms, competency 8, grade 10 science. The previous two videos based on characteristics of living organisms, we studied about four characteristics: cellular organization, nutrition, irritability and coordination, and respiration. Just to recall your memory, we'll be doing some questions based on respiration. Have a look at the question number 1 based on the given diagram. This is an experimental setup made by a group of students in grade 10 to show that carbon dioxide is released by the respiration of animals. Here in the bottle C, it has been put a frog, and bottle A, B and D contain some kinds of chemicals, and E contains a particular liquid. Question number 1, what is the type or what is the chemical substance that they should put in bottle A? The bottle A contains potassium hydroxide. It is an absorbent of carbon dioxide. What is the use of the above mentioned chemical in this experiment? This chemical, potassium hydroxide, is used to absorb carbon dioxide coming from the atmospheric air into bottle A. Question number 3. What do B and D bottles contain? The bottle B and D contains calcium hydroxide or lime water. Calcium hydroxide or lime water. Question number 4. What is the use of the above mentioned chemicals in this experiment? Why do we use calcium hydroxide or lime water in this experiment? That is to identify carbon dioxide gas, or whether carbon dioxide gas coming from the previous bottle. Whether carbon dioxide gas coming from the air from the previous bottle. What is substance that they should put in E? E contains water. The bottle E is useful to make the suction pressure required to make the air flows through the system, through the bottles A, B, C and D respectively. The next slide, it has been given some more questions. You have to pause the video and try to answer these questions. Dear children, the next important characteristic common to living organisms is excretion. All the organisms obtain various kinds of materials from their environment, and these materials are transformed in their bodies to a beneficial form of energy. Carbohydrate you take and lipids, proteins, they are converted into beneficial form of energy that is happening within your cells, within your cellular activities or in your cellular activities. When energy is produced by using these materials in your cells, it produces some kinds of waste matter within the cells. These waste matter should be eliminated from your body. They should be removed from you. Otherwise, these waste matter accumulate in your body and they make some harmful effects in your body. Therefore, this waste matter produced within the cells should be eliminated from the body. The sum of the chemical and physiological activities, or the building up and breaking down of materials within the cells, are known as metabolic activities. Metabolic activities means the cellular reactions occurring in the body. Some of these reactions are building up or synthesis reactions, and some are breaking down reactions. If a chemical reaction occurs in the cells and synthesize substance or build up a substance, We call it as an anabolic activity. If a substance is broken down by certain chemical reactions in the body, we call it as catabolic activities. Metabolism is of two types as anabolism and catabolism. Both are known as metabolism. Anabolism means building up, catabolism means breaking down, happening in the cells. Metabolism means summation of biochemical reactions taking place in the living body, or total of anabolism and catabolism. By these metabolic activities, it produces various kinds of waste matter or unwanted things in the cells. I told you these things should be eliminated or removed from your body. What is excretion? Removal of byproducts or the waste matter from the body that are produced during the metabolism is known as excretion. For the exam purposes, you must know the definition of excretion. Removal of the byproducts from the body that are produced during metabolism is known as excretion. In a body, there are organs and systems to eliminate or excrete out these byproducts of metabolism. Your skin is such excretory organ. It excretes out sweat. The sweat contains water and salt. Your lungs is another excretory organ. It releases carbon dioxide and water vapor. Kidney is another excretory organ belong the urinary system. It excretes urea, water and salt. In human body, main excretory materials are urea, salt, carbon dioxide and water. They are released from your body by excretory organ. Not in the animals, even in the plants, the excretion occurs. Within the plant cells, even the metabolism takes place and some kinds of unnecessary matter or unwanted matter are produced. For example, by cellular respiration in plants, it produces carbon dioxide and water vapor as in the animals. And another metabolic activity happening in the plants is photosynthesis. The photosynthesis produces oxygen as a byproduct. It is released to the environment. It is also an excretion. These carbon dioxide, oxygen-like waste matter produced within the plant cells are released to the external environment through the stomata of the leaves or the lenticels of the epidermis of the plant. That means excretion occurs in both plants and animals. The children, movement is another characteristic of living organisms, very important for all the organisms. Movement is not just moving from place to place. You know, some animals move from place to place, that is locomotion. But some organisms move only part of their body, that is also a movement. Movement is not merely moving from place to place. Sometimes only part of the body is moved. If you think of the movements, they are very important for the organisms to fulfill their requirements. For finding the food, for protection, for reproduction like processes, the movement is important. If you think of the unicellular organisms like paramecium, euglena and amoeba, they also show some kind of locomotion. By wagging the cilia or by using the pseudopodia, they can move even from place to place. Movement is a characteristic of living organisms. It is important for their existence. As far as the plants are concerned, the plants also show various kinds of movements. I think you can remember the lesson you learned in grade 9, some kinds of movements in plants. When you keep a plant closer to a window inside the house, you know, the plant bends toward the sunlight. It is a movement. We call it as phototropic movement. positive phototropic movement. It's a plant movement. And when the mimosa plant is touched, the leaves getting folded. It is an astic movement, tigmonastic movement. A pollen tube of pollen grows towards a chemical substance in the ovary. It is a chemotropic movement, positive chemotropic movement. And the root of a plant grows towards earth, that is geotrophic movement, positive geotrophic movement. The children, what you need to learn here is not only animals, plants also show various kinds of movements. Some kinds of vines like passion fruit and grapes, they wind around the supportive plant or the support. That is a thigmotropic movement. The next important characteristic common to living organism is reproduction. What is reproduction? Matured organisms produce a new generation of the same species is known as reproduction. In other words, production of a new generation by unicellular or multicellular organisms for the continuation of their species is known as reproduction. Reproduction is of two types, as sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. In the case of sexual reproduction, two gametes, the male gamete and female gametes, fuse and make a new organism. Male gamete and female gamete fuse and produce a new organism. In asexual reproduction, no new gametes are formed. No combination of gametes. It just produce a new organism by single organism. For example, a plant, a branch of a plant. By a shoot of a plant, you can make a new plant. By planting a branch or a shoot, you can make a new plant. It is asexual reproduction. By root of a plant, you can make a new plant. It is asexual reproduction. I told you, during the sexual reproduction, gametes of two individuals, male and female, combine and make a new organism. At the very initial stage, the male gamete and female gamete combine to form the zygote. Then the zygote divide and develop into a new organism. During the asexual reproduction, single organism can produce new organism without involvement of gametes. If you are to compare the sexual and asexual reproduction, as far as the asexual reproduction is concerned, only one parental organism involved, and the new organisms are identical or very similar to the parental organism. In sexual reproduction, two gametes fuse and make a new organism, and the new organism is non-identical to the parental organism. Okay, children, you have come to the last part of the lesson, and the next characteristic of living organisms: growth and development. Growth is the irreversible increasement of dry mass of a cell. Irreversible increasement of dry mass of a cell. The cell grows, the size of the cell increases, the dry mass of the cell increases. But it is not coming to the original state, or it is not reversible. Growth is the irreversible increasement of dry mass of a cell. Dry mass means without water. Then development. What is development? In unit 6 you learn cell is not continuously growing. But when the size of the cell increases to a certain level, it divides and form two cells. Then it divides and form 4, 8. Likewise, the number of cells increase by cell division. When the cells increase to a certain extent, they are differentiate to perform a particular function. We call it as the development. Once the cells are grown to a certain extent, they divide and differentiate. Divide and differentiate. Differentiating of cells into a particular function is called as development. The growth and development go hand in hand as a continuous process. Dear children, the growth and development can be expressed in three simple steps. The growth, irreversible increase in size or the dry mass of a cell. Then the cell divide and increase the number of cells by the cell division. Then these cells differentiate into tissues or performing a particular function. As far as the animal growth is concerned, the animal growth is limited, but the plant growth is continuously happening. The growth rate of a plant can be measured by using a laboratory instrument called oxanometer. What you see on the screen is oxanometer. The growth rate of a plant can be measured by using this oxanometer. Here, there's a scale to measure the amount of growth, and this indicator shows the amount of growth. And the indicator is fixed on a pulley. This is how you fix the plant with this oxanometer. The potted plant is taken and placed it like this, and the tip of the shoot is tied up with a string and pass the string over the pulley, and at the other terminal of the string a weight is hung. When the plant grows up, the weight moves downward, making this indicator moves down. But if you make this other way around, if you connect the plant to this side and the weight to the opposite side, this indicator moves upward. It doesn't matter whether it is moving upward or downwards. You can measure the amount of growth by this scale, by millimeters, centimeters like. And you can measure the growth rate as considering the time. For an example, growth in centimeters per day, growth in centimeters per hour, like you can measure the growth rate by using oxanometer. In this diagram you come to see the plant has been connected to the other side, so the indicator would move upwards. This is an animation of an oxanometer. When the plant grows, you see here the indicator moves downward. But if you do that in other way around, the plant to this side and the weight to the other side, it would move upwards. This is how the growth and development of human cell occurs. The two gametes, male and female gamete, the sperm cells and the egg cells fuse together and form a zygote. The zygote is divided and form a ball of cells called the morula. Then the morula differentiate and form various kinds of tissues and finally develop into fetus. Dear children, we have come to the end point of the lesson. Before that, you have to discuss about virus. You know, some organisms show all the 8 living characteristics, but as far as the virus is concerned, virus doesn't show all the living characteristics. The only living characteristic shown by the virus is reproduction. You can't see other characteristics in virus. What is the smallest kind of organism? If you think as the virus is an organism, the smallest kind. You can't see that with the naked eye. You have to use electron microscope for observing virus. They are very small in size. They show characteristics of non-living things and one living characteristic. So the living nature of virus is uncertain. Scientists have a doubt whether the virus is living or non-living. However, virus is not a cell. It is not considered as a cell because no cellular organism inside the virus. What does it contain? It contains DNA, RNA like uh, nucleic acid inside the virus and outer protein sheet. No other things in virus. And no metabolism take place within virus because no organelles within virus. Virus can reproduce only within bodies of other organisms. What you see on the screen is bacteriophage virus. Bacteriophage virus. It combined with the bacterial cell. It combined with the bacterial cell and eject its DNA strain into the bacterial cell and develop into new viral bodies. The only living feature shown by the virus is reproduction. There are some diseases caused by virus. Nowadays all the world is suffering with viral pandemic. Corona is an epidemic disease rapidly spreading throughout the world, and number of deaths occur even today. There are some viral diseases apart from that. For the animals, common cold, dengue, AIDS, influenza like diseases. For the plants, you can get various kinds of viral diseases, banana bunch top disease and curly leaf of chilies, various kinds of diseases for the both plants and animals. Dear children, it is good to study about these viral diseases, especially regarding corona during this vacation, and find out the causative agent of corona and how it spreads and what are the safety precautions that should be practiced by the people to minimize the spreading of disease. And you can read the articles and various opinions of the people regarding how this virus was originated, or whether it was originated by natural means or made by people in the laboratory. We have ample of time for studying about these things. Right. You refer into your textbook and do the questions based on this unit, and I hope you'll be able to do all the questions based on characteristics of living organisms. In the next video, I thought of starting next unit, grade 10 science, unit 9. Goodbye, children.